Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to grecochess, a YouTube channel where we discuss, we analyze, we comment, and we talk about the game of chess. If you saw the previous video, I was planning in this one to show to you what should have happened at the December Swiss of the Queen's Chess Club. But yesterday night it was snowing and the Queen's Chess Club decided to cancel the round. So instead of a 5-round tournament, there's going to be a 4-round tournament with the fourth and last round taking place next Friday. And then instead of showing the game, I'm going once again to the puzzle rush and we're going to explain the puzzles. I'm going to share the screen with chess.com. And here we are. I'll start doing the puzzles one after the other. And the rule is that once I have 3 puzzles wrong, we end. So one moment, let's enlarge my screen. And here we are. And we start. The first one here, it's back rank mate. Clearly the king on g8 has in front the pawns f7, g7, h7, and that is why checkmate. The second one, similar story, but now because of instead of having 3 pawns in front, my king on e6 covers the d7 square. Checkmate. Third one, once again, my rook will go to b1, 3 pawns in front of the king. This time the bishop may postpone for one move, but that's it. Next one, fourth one. What is going to happen is my rook will go to d1 and then the king on a2. The king cannot take the knight on a2 because of the bishop on e6. Next one. Now my bishop on h1 attacks the pawn on h6. My queen will take it, and due to the rook on g8, it's checkmate. Next round now. Let's see here. It's not so simple like that. If my pawn goes to g3, it's a check. The king can escape on g1. And then, my pawn on f3 will go to f2. And at least we'll take a rook on e1. Let's see if this is the case. Yes. Let's see here what's happening. My queen on f3, if it goes to h1 check, the rook can cover for g1, but then it's mate. Let's see if this is the case. Yes. Now, a tricky pawn ending, but let's first take the pawn on f4. That will make things easy for us to advance. Now, how do advance? If we go to f3 and then take the pawn on f2, I think the pawn on e4 can promote. Yes, it promotes first. Here, if my queen goes to g of 4 and it's a check, yes, my pawn on d4 covers d5 and there's a pawn on f6. This is a mate. If my queen goes to b7 check and the d7 is covered by bishop on a4. So we completed the first 10 puzzles, all of them made in 1 or 2 moves. Okay, there was one with the pawn race, but most of them were like that. Now here what's happening is that there's a queen protected on h3 and my knight is on f3. If it goes to g5 check, no matter how black responds, I win the queen next move. Yes. Next one. If my queen goes to e2 check, king goes to g1, queen, yes, queen, here we will sacrifice a queen. Queen will be sacrificed because once my rook goes on e1, the bishop from d6 covers h2. Great. Next one, this is a 3-move mate with the 2 rooks on the second rank, g2, h2, and now the other rook would have gone. Here, the knight protects the queen, but my rook will take the knight. And now I win the queen. A queen and a knight for a rook. Let's see what's happening here. If my queen goes to d1 check, king can go to g2. And then my bishop goes to f1 check, and then we have a discover check later and mate. And then bishop should go to h3 if I'm correct. Okay. What happens if queen goes to e1 check, then queen goes to d1, bishop goes to d2, yes. And now we win the queen, mate. If my knight goes to g3, is it mate? I think so. Well, the knight cannot be taken because of the pin, and the king has nowhere to go. Yes. What we'd like to do now, if possible, is win the rook on e1 with a double check. It's not going to be easy. Where can we double check? If we could check from h5, that would be great, but the king is not on the diagonal. Queen most likely has to check somewhere. But where? We can win the bishop on h6. It's not. Yes, here we are. The queen has to go here on h4 check, and now we win the bishop on h6. Yes, not easy to see. In the beginning, I thought it was the rook we had to win. Now here, the pawn will go to g5 check, king goes to h5, and the rook to h7 mate. If my bishop goes to h3, I think it's a mate. Yes. If my rook goes to a1, it's a mate. Yes. If my queen goes to h4, I think it's a mate. If we exchange bishops and my queen goes to h5, at least we won a piece. Yes. We finished already 22. If I could finish 23 anyway, the 24th. What if my queen goes now to a2 to check? Here we are. Then king goes to b1, the other goes to b2, and then the previous one goes to b1. 24, yes, you see the two groups of 12s. And now, what we want to do is we want the king to go to d6, then the black king cannot move, and hopefully the pawn will go to c7. The case that if black had no pawns would be stalemate, but now, black to move. But what can black do? It's not so easy. If my rook goes to... No. Yes, if bishop goes to... There are a lot of checks, but most of them will just lose material. If my bishop goes to e1 check... Okay, he will have discover if the king goes to d1 or c1, but if it goes to f3... Yes, and rook goes to h3, and this pawn on e5 does a great job. Let's see if this is the answer. Take the knight, and anywhere the king could go. No, because my two bishops cover a lot of squares. Here, we finished 26. We're going for number 27, and it starts becoming more difficult. If queen goes to g7, black can win it, and then my pawn goes to g7, and it's a discover check, and I think this wins the game. Let's see if this is the case. No, I need one more move. Rook goes to h8. If my rook goes to f2 the check, king can only go to h1. Ah, yes, here were then f1, and then the other rook will enter the game. Nope, mistake. The first out of our three mistakes. Now, can we have a discover check? If my pawn goes to e3, it's a discover from the queen. And the pawn continues to e2. I think this is a case. Let's see. Yes, we got this one. We got one wrong until now, number 28. So we have 28 out of 29. Here, what can we do? Queen cannot take on f1 because the rook on f8 is not enough. What if the queen takes on g2? Check, we lose the queen, we take the bishop for the queen. You understand, if the bishop was not on g2, the queen would go to h2 and it's mate. What else can happen? I can't see anything better than queen taking on f1. If bishop takes it, then the rook goes to f2 and it's mate on h2. If the queen takes it, let's see. No, mistake again, second mistake. So we have 28 correct and two mistakes. So very near elimination, unfortunately. If queen goes to f5, e should be mate. I hope so. Cannot afford another mistake. Yes. 29 correct and two wrong. If bishop goes to f3, have we're going to win one of the two rooks. Anything better? Not that I can see. The bishop goes to e2, attacks into f3, attacks the two bishops on e2 and d1. We should win at least one of the two. Yes. If I take the knight, rook takes, and then I win the rook. But there is a problem that the rook then can go to d1, very dangerous. The other choice is bishop takes rook, knight takes rook, and then bishop takes rook. No, it is wrong. Unfortunately, we got stuck at 29. We started from 39 and 40, and now we're down to 29 on a third attempt. Let's see, what did we do wrong? Let's see this one. The first we did wrong. And what is the solution? One, two. Uh-oh. Yes, we got the this is the first one wrong. The second wrong. Let's see the solution here. Knight goes here, yeah, and we have a nice fork. And the third one, the final one. Yes. I'll tell you what I was afraid. I was afraid that rook goes to d1 and it's going to be very dangerous because the rook from rook goes to d8. The rook on e8 cannot go to e7 because of the pin. But maybe the king would go to f7. So that's it for now. We completed the puzzle rush. And let's see how things are going the tournaments we're following. The one that I'm organizing, grecochess. Same story, two games remaining. The two games between Maxim Govorukha from the Ukraine and Barak 7 from Israel. These two games will decide who is going to be the final winner. Let's go to the other one. By the way, on December 31st, there's going to be an enormous tournament taking place in chess.com. The annual one. It starts every year. It starts on December 31st, and until now, 38,871 players have been registered. There are going to be, in every round, there are going to be groups of 12, 1 day no vacation, and only one player is going to continue. This means that we could go until 5 rounds, and this usually lasts most of the year. This is going to be very exciting, but let's see the other one, the Underwater Moonlight 9 Moons tournament. The one that Zanilor, my Italian subscriber, is organizing. And we're near the end of the first round. Let's see. How many games remain? 9 games remaining, and most groups things have been decided. Group 1, you see Lotus Time Chess, Oil Kimbo, and Canon 97-2 have advanced. Group 2, Spider 99, Luciano Kohan, and Jean Lake have advanced. Group 3, here we have 4 players advancing. Maxim Govorukha, also who is the finalist in grecochess. Vien Carvanans, in fact, Maxim Govorukha has 16 out of 16. Vien Carvanans. And third place, there is a tie between Zanilor, the organizer, and Silvio 8888. Group 4, Iraq Lion. Still has one play to go, but things have finished. 15 out of 15 wins. Risiraj 3 and Vivala Divya 5. Group 5, Chinanfu, MMT, and Peon Perez. Group 6, Mathis B 2008, David 8 times 8 times 8 times 8, and Muncha 44. Group 7, Mebius, Kendall 66, and Transis have advanced. Group 8, my group, where I ended up 6th with 7.5 out of 16 points. Khaled Katab, Eliezer MSTL, and Gugushipo Original have advanced. And Group 9, the only one that has not been completed. Let's see how things are going. Steam Rocket ended with 13 points. Is ahead, but no guarantee that this Steam Rocket will advance. Joe US Jake, Pijo 74, Lua 000, and Lessa 4101 are the other ones that also have some hope to advance. Which means that until now we have 30 players still surviving. I want to see how this goes. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thanks for watching. Viewers, subscribers, likes, comments. Thank you very much, all of you. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I'm Harry Lasanesiris. This is Greco Chess. And for now, goodbye.